Absorption issues.
21-pound 2-year-old?
Yep, and malabsorption issues. We've recommended her like
Yeah, that's all right.
part of a capsule, pretty much.
For a 2-year-old?
Mm-hmm. How much?
In a capsule?
Yeah, they're.
I'd do the tincture in a 2-year-old. I don't know if you can do a I mean, you can take it out and put it in coconut water or something like that. You could do that, but if it gives them a foul turn-off on it, it might turn them off on, coconut milks and stuff like that. So you have to be careful about that. Because bitter, I mean, really, I mean, when you're in a child, it might be better to do the glycerin, which you can get away from, but the problem with the glycerin is it needs to be metabolized. So that's, you have to have a good hepatic function. And nowadays, these babies have low liver, gallbladder functions, low pancreatic functions, and stuff like that. At 2 years old, guess what they should be on? They should be almost all fruit at 2 years old. I mean, my grandson's, except for a few cheats from Jason, I mean, he's pretty damn raw. And I mean, this kid's like a gorilla. It's like unbelievable. Mm-hmm. And it's just like he's been fruit since a few months, since he's been able to deal with that, like 4 months old or something. So at 2 years old, this baby needs to be on fruit. That'll help to start clean that malabsorption, that lymph system, remember? So if anything, you're going to do on a 2-year-old, you're going to do maybe, you can ask Jennifer, but maybe 4 drops at the very most. 4 little drops. Mm-hmm. Maybe even start out with 3 little drops of, say, a lymphatic 1 tincture, kidney 1 tincture, and an endocrine gland tincture.
And just a reminder, it's 1 tiny drop per 8 pounds. Mm-hmm. Whether it's a pet, whether it's an animal, or a
So then
kid.
you're up to, so 3 drops would be adequate, I think, or 4 maybe.
Malabsorption issue, they're just making expensive.
Well, malabsorption is lymphatic, so, trying to get that bowel. The thing is there's limited amount of work you can do with bowel formulas, trying to get through that wall. Because remember, this is interstitial problems. Impaction on the wall, possible with all the milky protein, depends what that little boy or girl was given. Could have impactions on the bowel wall, but the fruit will clean that off. So without the herbs. So you're talking interstitial. So you're talking lymph again. And these babies don't have any adrenal or or kidney power. So
with the superfood powder, how much would you...
For a baby?
Yeah.
Ooh.
21 pounds.
Yeah, I mean, you wouldn't need much.
Right. Just a little pinch.
Yeah, you wouldn't need much. Well, that's isn't that radical chemistry? Didn't that guy say that wheat grass was radical chemistry? Give me a freaking break.
Yeah, the thing is, like, she's just kind of thinking along the lines, well, this looks good, and she's malabsorbed, so let me give that.
Yeah, 21 pounds, definitely consider malabsorption, but also digestion in these babies. And, you might want to check height and everything else, because if this baby has a pituitary problem, they're not going to grow fast. Yeah. So I think the endocrine gland would be appropriate in that case, because now you're getting close to that Fab4 scenario where you're hitting the kidneys, the endocrine glands, and you're hitting the lymphatic system. That's what I would do, and then try to get them to do assessment and stuff.
You wouldn't go over about half a capsule on the superfood with that.
Nah, half a capsule's plenty.
Right,
yeah, half a capsule's probably plenty. I mean, major nutrition. So it's just getting it digested and absorbed. And what's the third one? Utilization. Glands. See, so that's why you go back and do those things. All right. We ready? We on?
We're on?
Let's rock, baby!
Did you,
poop today? Yeah. Thanks, Drewski. We're on?
Do you need assistance?
You need some assistance with the cherry berry? No. I tell you what, though.
I'll eat them.
You know what? Stay close, and we'll home in on this eye in a minute.
Yeah, let's do that one.
All right. So just hang on. Let me say hello. Hello, everyone. Sorry. This is like Grand Central Station, so just to give you some idea of what this is like, and we just have this constant issue of people needing help. And I know you guys are aware of that, and you see it in your lives, and that's the beauty of you guys and the need that this world has for you guys. I know a lot of you probably aren't interested in becoming healers and helping others, but many of you are. But you know, there's an old saying, to get, you have to give. And as you give, you get. You know, and there's another old saying, you know, if you want to learn a subject, we were talking about that the other day, Drew, if you want to learn a subject, teach it. You know, set you up and talk for it, and you'll have to prepare yourself, and you have to do this. I'll have to say this. You Aussies are incredible. Look at this. Now, these are, of course, Sherry's berries. Didn't say they were good for you, because you never know if they're organic. They didn't say on there, but I'm going to tell you, you guys down under are incredible, and this is A-OK, raw, okay, raw. Anyway, huge hug to you guys. I mean, thank you so much. These friggin' things are that huge. I've never seen strawberries that big. They were huge. They were fist size. All that all over my face. I dove into that. And also, Debbie, thank you for the same. I love you guys. You know, the fruit, the berries. Oh, you Aussies, you Australian guys, you get it, baby. You love you. All right, so I've got a class coming up here real quick. This is Friday, and everybody's setting up and getting ready for it. So I thought I'd try to run a couple-hour video, and I might come back and add on top of this, Drew, and try to give them as much as we can, as long as Chris might have to take this home and shoot it up, you know, because you guys are going to be at the school. Okay, yeah. So I want to do this one while Drew's here to help me, and this is from Debbie Solomon, and this is, I think, a client of hers. And I have a quick question about the attached eye photos. I have not seen this. The iris color beyond the cholesterol ring. And I think I showed this the other day, and maybe I pulled this back, but let's take a look at this.
Oh, you're okay with doing that?
I'm okay.
All right.
Now, do you see that purple haze? Purple haze! Oh, that was something else. You see that violet color that goes around this eye here? Obviously, what's below that, you need to go down. Oh, I see. Oh, yeah. Okay, good, Drew. All right, you see this thick, white, hazy ring here? That's a cholesterol ring. That's thick cholesterol ring. And now you're seeing this violet hue around the outside. Now, I know we've probably addressed this, but Debbie, I'm just laying here, maybe I didn't get rid of it, but this is the only way that you can determine that there is poor circulation. When you see cholesterol plaquing, you can just about assume this pupil looks awful clean for this cholesterol ring, because generally you see a cataract forming here, and this person could have had cataract surgery already. When you see a case like this, you want to keep them on circulation formulas, particularly upper circulation, and keep them from stroking, because these people are in stroke, heart attack zone anytime. That's what's scary about these clients. Also tells you that the adrenals are real low, and when you come over here, you see chronic adrenals here, and the kidneys aren't much better. The hip is a victim of this kidney. All of this side right here. If it's a female, you got uterine, prostate male, you've got maybe a little bladder, rectal wall. I mean, you've got a bunch of things going on here. All these little loop-de-loos or lacunas are the GI tract mostly. But this violet hue is an indication that this individual is losing their circulation, and that this person is in definitely harm's way here. Also, this week I will be setting some appointments to work with a 67-year-old woman, her 27-year-old quad son. Wow, accident at 3 years old. Look at that crap. This guy's been a quad since he's 3 years old.
How old now? Age?
27.
Wow.
So this guy needs to get out of the chair. You know what? And at least one of his 24-hour nursing paramedic staff, oh my God. It sounds as if I may have several of the nurses and paramedics that want me to work with them as well. I'm excited about, you know, Debbie, this is incredible stuff. And this is a young man, this 27-year-old should be living totally on fruits, berries, and melons. I mean, that's, you know, and get him up. A quad, too. That's a higher level injury at 3 years, almost a pound. Oh, that's sad stuff, you know. Thanks, Debbie. You know, this case has really got to work on that. Got to get up in the brain anyway and do some brain and nerve work too. A couple spots up there they need to deal with. Some knee deterioration, stuff like that with that case there. Okay. Let me see here. question and watching your videos quite a bit. Oh, thanks, Missy. Nassim. Thank you, Drew.
Yeah. You're welcome.
Oh, we'll see you up there. Yep. However, Dr. Morris has mentioned using a raw egg and almond milk, but he didn't say what he used it for. I was thinking maybe it's like using a glandular. Can you explain this, please? Yeah, my friend, extremely depleted cases, because you've got a little, you know, I've said this many times before, those people that tout like they're detoxifiers, as I put that video up with the health ranger guy, you know, there's thinking out there like that. Although, remember, he was mentioning radical supplementation. Wheatgrass, I guess, is radical. Things like that could be radical, I guess. But probably what he thinks we're real radical. But I've used it in highly, highly depleted cases where the person was so emaciated, no muscle, bone, skin hanging on bone, then I do use an organic unfertilized egg in with almond milk. Is one of the ways I try to build people up. What was in the older days. I haven't done that in a long time. But we've got the God's blends, and we have blends now that'll work. But that also, I've done that in the past, and it can build someone up pretty quick and put on some weight. Definitely acidic, definitely proteins, and so that's where the delicacy of detoxification and keeping them halfway with some meat on them. You know, because these are cases that should pass. We're saving cases that should go on and pass. So it's just that's why they must want this, because that's their karma. And so some of these people have let themselves get pretty low. And for you ladies out there, when you feel a Humpty Dump in the breast, you move on it quick. The people are coming in with just, I'd like to show you this one. I don't know the extent of what we can show on YouTube, but you'll definitely see them in class, of course. But the extent of necroticized breasts and stuff, it's just, you know, that's the problem. There's so much fear wrapped around the AMA, warranted so. But they need to know there's other alternatives that are better, much better. The classic AMA suppression, just like some of these politicians that are using these negative ads, like Harry Reid, this guy needs a nursing home bad. I'm surprised his family hasn't put him in, but there's his son acting the same way. I mean, these guys are a few cards short of a full deck, and yet they're in positions of power, and it's ominous, you know. And so, anyway, you just got to protect your clients, but I don't. You have to be real careful with the proteins in detox. You know, this is some of the things of detox, and detox is. I mean, it is what it is. You know, when things come out of you, you're going to have cold and flu-like symptoms. If you got tissue breaking down, you could have some pain. These are real detox symptoms, and there's no way to get around it. Because if you're not doing it the level that we're doing it here, your success at detox is going to be minimal. And these people, like this one guy, this ranger guy, they have no clue to what true detox is. And so, you know, this is just the way it is. And to instill fear in people in a modality that's essential to the wellness shows that he's working for the negative forces, you know. And that's sad stuff. We have to work for the positive, and I don't even want to say positive forces. We must work for that which is the consciousness, God, the creative intelligence, the supreme being, not to separate low from high. All these things that we give name to. That which is the creator, that which is the intelligence that flows through all life, including yourself. That's, now here's one. Urinate 6 to 8 times a night. That's quite a bit. During days, sometimes can't control, need to urinate. Help ASAP, please. What can I do? I eat your diet, much fruits, some veggies. Also have headaches and fatigue. Live very near cell tower for 4 years. Have moved now, symptoms less intense. There's so much radiation out here on this planet right now. My God, guys, you know, if we can just stabilize people, that's something else. And this person's 82 years old. Thanks, I'm a friend of Eli's. You got it, my friend. Walter. Well, Here's another thing. Remember that old saying about drinking all this water is very helpful? It is not helpful. And when you get into this high acidosis or kidney failure, you just pass the water right through you. There's no hydration. Of course, there's no hydration with water anyway. So proper hydration interstitially. So you're just going to pee it right on out. And probably a lot of the juices, the water in the juices. So I wouldn't juice and I wouldn't drink water. I would just go ahead and eat my fruits and berries and maybe cut down on the melons a little bit and fix that prostate and kidneys. That's where your problem is. And so I would get in there and get in my adrenal glands, get into the kidneys, get my lymph filtering and really clean up your body there. And it's just going to take a while to balance that out. I have a feeling if you check your urine, if you're on an alkaline diet, it's going to be alkaline instead of acidic. And as you grip hold and interstitially with this and start hydrating, now you'll start getting this cationic experience where you start to see the urine moving more acids through it. And that's real important. Someone asked me a question here, and I don't know what this is a good question here, but it was in relationship to, they wanted an explanation of the channel from the kidneys, how the body, how the lymphatic system works in the kidneys and all that. And that's where we have a problem, because I'm loaded with pro charts in here, of the body, anatomy wise, and you don't even see the lymphatic system addressed in the kidneys. And my true feeling, and the same thing with lipid absorption. Understand at class we're going to go over this and have a round table about the lipids and the lymph system and all this, and the absorption of lipids, fatty acids. And you have to understand that the lymphatic system is so much bigger. I mean, look at the eyes. Why does the eyes show us more lymphatic stuff than it does vascular or blood stuff? Blood stuff is very limited in the eye, but the lymphatic system is every part of the eye, and it shows you the major field that system is. Why would the lymph system be so much bigger, 3 to 4 times bigger than the blood? And we praise the blood all the time. But when you look at strokes and heart attacks, these are lymphatic problems. They become blood problems, but initially they're lymphatic problems. And when you look at this and you step back and you look at this whole thing we're laying out for you, and someday maybe I'll do a video and we'll do a little simple A&P and we'll lay this out as much as we can, because there's a certain awareness that doesn't exist. And I was telling you, with the bodies exhibit the same way. If you go to the bodies exhibit from China, you'll never see the lymph system, lymph nodes, anything represented there of the lymphatic system, and no tie to the kidneys or anything else. Yet, in clinical work, if you're working on your clients and you don't see filtration in the kidneys, you don't see very much improvement. And I don't know. I've only seen, like I said, maybe 150,000 people in my life, and so I think that's a good enough reference. Most of these studies are with a handful of people, 1,000 at the most, 500 people, maybe 5 or 6 people. Some of these studies have no volume to them. We have volume to our research, and you'll be able to see that. We see it every time. And when you see something that reoccurs every time, then you know it's steeped in truth. If you see something that occurs, a good example of that is pneumonia. Medical doctors blame pneumonia on pneumococcus, but in 40% of the cases, pneumococcus doesn't exist. So you have to start looking beyond the microbial kingdom and understand their journey here and understand the terrain. This is what many good physicians through the years have tried to get people to look at, is the condition of their terrain. And I also wanted to mention this because this article this guy wrote, and a lot of people talk about toxicity. We talk a lot about toxicity of the body. I want you to realize the body's quite simple. Think of all the stars in the sky, right? They're really not touching each other. They're away. They're separate. Each one is separate, right? Your body's just a bunch of organs and glands. The glands control the organs. This whole system is based upon getting energy and nutrition to cells, and lightly called nutrition, components that make things happen, to tissues. whether it's endocrine gland tissues or whatever. And so you see a system that's brought to break down, absorb, utilize, and eliminate the byproducts from this whole process of supporting cells and their functions. The consciousness of God is what makes them the individuality they are and what they're here for. That's their consciousness. But their physiology and anatomy is quite similar. And so inside a cell and outside a cell, you have organs and glands, and you have a world of them. And you have tubes attaching to each one, going from each one to each one. And you have 3 types of tubes. You've got lymphatic tubes and vessels and capillaries. You've got vascular or blood lymphatic or blood capsule vessels. You've got your arterioles, your oxygenated bloods. You've got your veins and capillaries, but they're all just blood vessels. And then you got your nerves. And these 3 components are essential for the movement and activity of cells, and of course the health and wellness of the cell, and the production of steroids and hormones and etc. But everything's just not in there with everything messing around. There's tubes that link everything. It would be like linking all the stars with tubes, and through those tubes pass the energy and everything to fix, and then other tubes clean away the waste. Just like in your house, you've got water pipes that bring in the water to everything, and then you have the sewer pipes that remove the waste away from everything. Even in the kitchen is sewer pipes, the same way in your body. Your kitchen, everything that deals with the kitchen, your pancreas, your gallbladder, your liver, your spleen, all have sewer pipes in them. Everything has sewer pipes, everything has blood pipes. So this is just important to understand. And the lymph system is not just a eliminative system, it's your main immune system, and it is a delivery system, because you absorb most of your fatty acids into your lymph system, not into your blood. So your body has to carry, your lymph system has to carry these lipids to the liver. Can't just carry them up here to the inferior vena cava. That's ridiculous. And back into the venous system. If you step back and look at that, even in common sense, it's idiocy. This is just ridiculous thinking. You don't dump lipids back in the blood at a high rate, nor acids, because no one would be living. So to keep the viscosity of the blood the way it is and the perfect pH the way it is, you have minimal lipid absorption into that. And so the lymph system is the lipid system, and it's a system that deals with the acids because blood isn't strong enough. It's too water soluble. So when you look at this, you just have to understand that there's some things in physiology we don't know. You might think we do because this is the 21st century, but I want to tell you again, the AMA is probably the most ignorant of how the body works, and yet we think they're the smartest. And that's fallacy. And it's time people wake up to that fallacy, because now, because of the level we are at in genetics and chronic levels, people are killing. I mean, the allopathic community is killing people at an alarming rate, and everybody's apathetic to it. You know, it's just apathetic, and the children are being slaughtered by the tens of thousands, but we're apathetic to it. You know, some young 30-year-old oncologist is yelling at Kathy's daughter because all the studies she read is nothing's wrong with radiation. This lady's smoking some serious bad stuff in the back room. Is she not aware or awake? Is she that numb? See, so that's scary when you have a young 30-year-old oncologist that thinks radiation's okay. I mean, that lady needs to lose her license and maybe get into something else, like working for a travel agency or something. That's how serious this is. And we have to stop this. It's like government's out of control. We have to stop these things because it's not going to be pretty if we don't. Hi guys, this is Neil. I know Dr. Morris says that protein is very bad for the kidneys. My question is he just talking about protein in cooked meat or vegetable sources of protein as well? I am taking a protein powder that is just ground up wild-crafted plants. That's it. And all of them are high plant sources of protein. Can the body break down plant protein and easily absorb it? Trying to build some muscle mass. Well, Neil, loosely we call plant proteins amino acids because they're not complex enough. I mean, I would say things like kale and some of the greens are close, but these are more amino acid structures, so they're much more bioavailable, no question, easier to break down, and there's not much to break down. Amino acids don't have to be broken down anymore. But when you get to the proteins, you got the peptides and polypeptides, you got these stages that the process takes you back down to the amino acids. So there's nothing wrong with plant proteins in that way, but to take an amino acid blend of even plant proteins mean there's some extraction processes involved, and then what you're getting is a high nitrogen, high phosphorus food. And that's bothersome when you're detoxing. If you weren't detoxing, then okay, I don't care really, as long as you're filtering and as long as you balance that. But to be honest with you, you can pump something like our superfood blend or somebody's good superfood blend, and you got plenty of amino acids for muscle mass. You have to start looking at, are you digesting properly? Are you absorbing properly? And then utilization, that's more adrenals. So you want to look at these things, because these are the three areas that people are failing in, Neil, and you might be that same way. One good way of telling that's the eyes, of course. Another good way, if you're on a raw food diet and you're getting too thin, you're malabsorbed, because as a rule, those that are not malabsorbed won't get excessively thin. And if you're getting excessively thin, you have either digestive or you have malabsorption. Digestive problems are going to yield you a lot of gas. In other words, your foods are going to ferment or putrefy, and putrefaction is a protein issue, of course. But vegetables and fruits you're going to eat them and you feel like you're getting gassy and bloaty from them. That's digestive problems. Malabsorption is you're just not going to see much of that. You're going to see food particles. Well, that's even digestive problems. It's hard to tell malabsorption. The eyes are the best way to look at it, and that's a lymphatic issue. You know, as much as one wants to say, your body is quite simple in the fluids and the cells and all that. It's easy to understand. The body's a bunch of cells and two major fluids that handle the health of them. One feeds them, one cleans them. You know, when we talk about toxicity of the body, what's the main toxicity? When you talk about infection and we talk about toxicity, what are we talking about? We're talking about acids. You know, we're talking about cell waste, cell byproducts. Same thing as your poop and urine in the septic tank. These are byproducts of digestion and metabolism. And the same thing in the body. It's just that these wastes, not digestive waste per se, but the cellular wastes are not going anywhere fast. These are simple acids. So when you have an infection, it's just acidosis. You know, and so you can see the mucosa coming, responsive mucus, and the different colors of mucus by the bacterial action tells you how long it's been in there. You know, and without bacterial action, I mean, you have to understand that the use of antibiotics is man's biggest problem, or one of them. That's a serious problem. And our societies are steeped with this because of the ignorance of the AMA about bacterium. And because of that, you have to understand that you need bacterium in your body. That's essential for vitamin formation, but also the breakdown of these acids. And you'll see in your cases, guys, that when you're having an arthritic case or a fibromyalgia case, lupus, Lyme's, these are people that have taken high antibiotics, and now they don't have bacterial action to help them. And now they've got pain because these acids are going unchecked without bacterial action. And once you kill the bacteria in the lymph nodes, you're in trouble. And this is serious. And they don't get that. You don't remove lymph nodes and you don't kill bacteria in lymph nodes. These are septic tanks, and cells feed into these lymph nodes. Every lymph node has a bunch of cells feeding into them. Maybe hundreds, maybe thousands, maybe more cells feeding into them. There's sewage into these lymph nodes. You want your lymph nodes nice and clean and filtering. Well, they can't filter if the kidneys are not filtering, because then everything backs up. The lymph nodes swell. You can feel them. You can feel stiff and tight. And then it just keeps going. The skin starts showing problems. Everything starts showing problems because sewage, which are acids, are backing up. This sewage is just cellular sewage. Now, you have some parasitic sewage. You have some microbial sewage, nano levels, but that's all picked up lymphatically and dealt with. Your biggest fight? Cell waste, cell sewage. And if anybody thinks the blood, that God made that the blood to burden that, just doesn't get the whole picture of health in the body and that sort of. And we need to start growing the simplicity of this. You know, the intellectual mind has lost itself. And because it's lost itself, it's now killing people at alarming rates for the good of the whole. So we kill over 1 million people and we say it's for the good of the whole. Naturopath heals millions every year, and we don't kill anybody. That's for the good of the whole. All right, this is Sherry. Hey, Sherry. I have grossly stumbled upon your site. Oh, thanks, sweetheart. Let me see. I have been battling with night terrors. Oh, yeah, look at this. Night terrors for the past 20 years. I woke up screaming like a maniac, sometimes running through the house in terror, horrified my whole household. My heart beats wildly out of my chest, and often it takes a lot to rouse me out of these episodes. Often I am unable to go back to sleep after one of these episodes. The dreams are about foolish and ridiculous things, like I can't find my car keys, or my purse is missing, or I did not log out of work properly, even when I wasn't working. I have been thinking that maybe I need to do an extreme detox. I have fasted over the years dozens of times for as long as 36 days using the Stanley Burroughs Master Cleanse, which is the lemon juice, maple syrup. I'd rather use honey and cayenne pepper. But that was mostly for spiritual benefit and growth. Please address my issue. I have just begun to grow wheatgrass juice, as I have heard that is a strong detoxifier. Oh, Sherry gave us your phone number here, honey. Okay, I'll say this. And I know, and this is going to, I'm not going to address this one, but Brandon, I will. You asked me about my belief in Jesus Christ, Lord or God, and how I feel about that, spirituality and where that is. I'll say this, whatever your belief systems are, I'll say be cautious having belief systems, because belief systems limit you. If they're in your teaching, whether it's Christianity or whether it's Buddhism or Hinduism, I don't care what teaching you're in, make sure it's fulfilling you, that gives you the succor and the excitement of God, and you can feel the presence of consciousness of God flowing through you. You want to make sure your teaching isn't a belief system, and that you have faith that things are going to be good, because that's not a knowingness position. You're still separating yourself from God. You're still playing the separation role, like me and there's the Almighty. And that is one of the biggest problems with most religions, is they put everyone inferior to that which is, and yet in their teaching they teach that all things is that which is. So you have to read through. It's like health. You have to read through some of these lines. I'll say this, always use the golden light, and I'll tell you, either use Hu or Om, and Hu is the most protective. In those Sanskrit writings we found the Hu and the Om, Hu being the more powerful of the two. This is a word that they found that echoes the Supreme Being, and it's a powerful vibrational word, and you can do it like Hu, you can do it like that, but put the golden light, the protective light around you when you have these negative things. Call on your spiritual being. You can call on us. You can call on the Ekmasters. They're always around. Call on the people you know that can protect you in these cases, and don't open yourself up. If you ever opened yourself up in spirituality or opened yourself up as a channel, forget that. Right now, I know you guys might think I'm a wacko, but why did Bessie Ventura do a whole segment on reptilians, and why is there groups out there monitoring these beings? I'm going to tell you, there's shapeshifters, there's dimensional shifters, there's all kinds of life stuck in all kinds of frequencies here, and the protection, we're just Homo sapiens grumbling here in the planet Earth. Let me tell you, there is so much life in different forms throughout the worlds of God. It's staggering. So this narcissistic view that the Homo sapien is somehow some blessed God and no one else is, these things have got to leave, because you must see God in everything and understand these universes of God, these heavens, as Jesus said, these rooms in my Father's mansion, as Jesus said, are many, and there's many beings, non-physical looking, not everything is Homo sapien looking. So protection in the future is essential, because these negative forces are gaining, and there's other beings wanting to occupy this planet. You can think I'm nuts if you want, but just be aware. Don't let anybody else sit in your space. Do not be a channel for any entity. There's a lot of these people channeling Michael and all these beings, and it's like, nope. be careful about even the ascended masters. The ascended masters are great, you know, Saint Germain, all these guys, I love them all. But there's also much more powerful beings out there that also help to run the universes. So these guys are always available for your help. Some are called the silent ones, you never see them. But get some strength there. Also, I would use upper circuit, brain, and nerve and try to get all my adrenals up and that sort of thing. Try to always surround yourself with the light and protection. But know that nothing can happen to you, and that you must become strong with that. And this is happening to you to become strong. You must kick this out of you, and only you can do that. You can have spiritual beings help you, but you must gain your own strength, sweetheart. You must become strong. Just like someone came into your house and you go, out! That's exactly what you have to do on all levels, because you're interacting with beings at all kinds of levels that a lot of you are unaware of, because this awareness, the conscious mind is somewhat limited. That's why when you learn how to go beyond the conscious mind, you start seeing a whole lot of things you never knew existed before, because there's so much that for some souls it's frightening. Then you just have to relax. Look at that movie with the kid. And the reason there are so many levels you can have out-of-body experiences with, and now this medical doctor, she's saying, well, I've been out of body, I've been to heaven. Well, there's a lot of heavens, a lot of levels. And so you just have to be aware of that. And so that's why we teach the maps and everything else of the God world, so to speak. You have to protect yourself. I would say that detox is one thing, but I say that sometimes you can open yourself up spiritually and you get very unbalanced. So there's a point when you're all raw that you have to be careful, because you can get so much energy that you can get a little unbalanced. This is when we talked about grounding. And Yaz, you know what I mean about grounding, right? So that's essential, because you get way out there. You can get to where you can't come into the body much anymore because you can't handle it. You become too fragile. And there's some people that just, souls are just hanging on here. And you have to be real careful who you open yourself up to. And you don't need to open yourself up to anything or anyone, because you are the living truth. If you look through some of these things that the Bible writes as allegories, look at what some of the words are saying. You are the living truth. There's nothing else that is. But everything around you is also the living truth. You remember that little see God in everything? How'd you guys do with that one? You know, how'd you do with the weak? It says quit thinking for the weak. Did you do good with that one? Keep working with those techniques, because they will eventually lead you to a strong presence of the now where nothing can get in and get you. You must become strong, and that's why some of you are going to go through a little ups and downs this way, but you must gain strength over the negative. Strength, because you can tell any being to get out, and you don't have to have anyone control you mentally. That's why it's so important to get out of your mind, because in your mind you can be controlled. But outside of your mind, you can't be controlled, because you're pure consciousness. So these might sound a little radical to talk to you like this on a video, but I'm telling you, it's part of spirituality, it's part of awakening, and we'll be talking a lot more about it coming, because things are coming quick and more intense, and there's more... There's just a lot of things coming to this planet people are unaware of. Some people. The others are not so unaware of them. And I'd like to say Deepak talked more about it. He's aware of that. So there's a lot more people aware of what's going on there. And it's just, we can't keep our heads under the sand anymore like ostriches. We must stand up and be strong against all adversaries. Just saying. So, sweetheart, do your best, Sherry. Surround yourself in the golden light. Be strong. Don't let anything get out. Presence. You know, I used to call myself the entity buster, but that's because I was put into situations where either I got strong or I felt like I was going to be ripped apart. So all I can say is get strong with this. Don't allow anything in your darkness. Work on your endocrine glands. Detox yourself. Upper circuit, brain, and nerve. Get your kidneys in. Detox the body. But this is on a lot of other levels too, honey. So remember, when you can't dream, you can't imagine outside of this. And these things that you're dreaming shows you're insecure with yourself. You know, here's an example here where you lost your keys. You're lost. And you feel lost inside, and the darkness is present. That's why you must become the light itself, because you are the light. And you must recognize that and use the hue to polarize you to the light. Feel the presence of the light and power and the golden light around you to protect you, and you become that light. And then you will be the light, and no one can hurt you. But all these little things that you're dreaming is showing how you feel about yourself. You feel your inadequacies and like something's going to hurt you. You claim your presence. You claim your joy. You claim your rightful place in the spirituality of things. You are God expressing itself. Know that. And that's how you overcome these things, sweetheart. Okay. Let me see. I've recently been turned to your videos through a friend and wish I'd started soon. Oh, thanks. Appreciate that. Oh, Lindsay. Basically, I was trying to heal my cavities. That's a job. I'll be honest with you. Some of these levels are jobs. When you get into bones and cavities and you get into more dense structures, you got to open up these pathways of the lymph. Because remember, all these structures have lymph and blood pathways, including gums and teeth and everything else, because cells have to consume and eliminate. Cells are just, I mean, there is the theory of breatharian, right, and the Immaculate Conception, and we can get into that, talking about that as kind of some of my favorite subjects, but at the same time, at this level, at this planet, I don't know. I mean, you really have to, you got to get where Yaz is. Thailand, somewhere where there's superior fruits and you're just knocking it with fruits and berries and herbs, and you're just knocking it. Now you're going to get up to a level. You have to look at your genetics. Those of you that have strong constitutions are the ones that can really do this better than those of us that have weaker ones. Now, you can see the cavity, and there's an abscess. Well, that's why there's a cavity. You got to understand the whys, and you get into the abscesses. What system do you think the abscesses is? That's interstitial, so that's mostly lymph. You'll see some blood, but that's interstitial fluid. There are the blood mixing with lymph at places. Regular doctors want root canal, and the holistic doctor wants me to pull it, insists that it is dead. Well, I mean, the tooth might not be dead yet. I mean, the nerve might be dead or something inside and stuff. So I don't know. In terms of root canals, think about this. It's what you fill the root canal with. And my dentist was explaining that these chemicals is what was killing the teeth, further killing. Instead of like in Europe where we use more of a calcium concentrate, like a citrate or something like that, I suppose. Something like that wouldn't further harm the tooth. It's your lymph system that you have a problem with. So we talked about this on another video, using the heal-all tea, the grounds, the shavings of the heal-all tea, and you could use the stomach tea the same way that'll put here. The heal-all tea is a little better because you have some drawing power to that with the plantain, and so that's going to be real good for that. And then you have some walnut for microbes and stuff, but it isn't the microbe. They're just trying to help you with the abscess. And that's the problem. And finally, I think getting to my dentist a little bit about the lymph system versus bacterium. Understand the role of bacterium and get deeper into the lymph system, I am not convinced. Ideally, I want to heal my tooth of the cavity and then build it up. Okay, so you really got to get your kidneys filtering. You got to clean everything down below. Get your bowels cleaned up. Get your lymph moving. You can start helping by using that heal-all tea as a mouthwash, but holding these grounds up against the abscess and stuff help pull that out. I need to know if this can be done through with my tooth broken. It's a lot of work. That's all I'm going to say. It's a lot of work. It wouldn't be if we had lived a halfway decent life and the genetics weren't like it is, but it's doable, but a lot of work. I've known people that grown a third set of teeth. How about that one? Not many, but there are people that have grown third sets of teeth. And if so, how to go about it? I've seen, and I would use the bones for me, make sure my parathyroid is up there. These are two other connecting links, but you've got to move lymph. That's what the abscess is telling you. There's sewage there, sewage from the cells, breaking the cells down. I've seen people say, yes, but all times the tooth was whole. So I don't know if my tooth is disqualified from that healing process. Depends on how advanced it is. If your tooth is getting real black, I mean, that's going to be a toughie. I saw recently that you mentioned abscess with lymph. Yeah, and I have thyroid issues as well. Yep. Diagnosed with Hashimoto's. Well, you know, probably the parathyroids are down a little bit, so you have to get that up to get the utilization of calcium up so you can repair. But with that said, you got to deal with the lymph system. That's right on point there. After I lost 50 pounds using mainstream diet, which I pegged for screwing up my hormones, I have lipids along my rib cage and in my neck as well. Yeah, I mean, that shows your lymph system's backed up there, sweetheart. You're not filtering, and you need to filter. And that's what I'm saying. You absorb lipids into the lymphatic system, but when understanding the role of lipids primarily in the body, and the predominant use, in my opinion, of lipids, of course, is antacids, whether it's from a steroid use or whatever, you know. And so I've been trying for a year now to bring my health into order with juicing and cutting out processed foods and found a passion for exercise. I rarely eat any grain or any meat. It's twice a week as a side. Now, I'll say this. When you're going after these more advanced cases, quadriplegics, paraplegics, you're going after MS, you're going after teeth and bone regeneration, you got to be 100% raw. Minimally. And I'm telling you, in your quads and pairs and your neurological, you need to be 100% fruits and berries and melons, or you're just going to be slow to come on. But that's okay at first to go slow like that with quads in particular, but you know, you really got to hit it to get them up there to get that power of the nerve back. And of course, you're working on your glands simultaneously. You're working on all the things that are blocking your body from healing itself from the trauma in the first place. Working on cutting the dairy. Working on it? Honey, now. I mean, you'll never regenerate that. If you're going to take your time and I'm working on getting rid of it, you might as well pull the tooth or a root canal. I like teeth, so I would do the root canal first, and only if they use a calcium substance that has no other chemistry in it. It's twice a week as side of that, working on cutting the dairy. So we do like cheese and homemade ice cream. Well, I mean, that's a big reason why the abscess and everything else, and you're going to have to clean all that cheese and ice cream back out of you from years probably of doing it. So you got a lot. Sounds like you got some work ahead of you. My lack of meat eating is what some holistic doctors blame for my teeth. Get this. My lack of meat eating is what some holistic doctors. Oh my, that you can scratch that holistic off of their name, dear, because they don't deserve the right to use it. I can tell you. Because any holistic doctor that recommends meat eating is not a holistic doctor. Holistic does not mean eating raw, dead animal tissue. I'm sorry. If you do, it's your own vice. But to recommend a patient to do that is insanity. This is toxicity actions. This is the very thing that takes calcium out of the body is meat proteins. What the hell are they thinking? These are the most unbalanced proteins in terms of calcium ratios. But all proteins are unbalanced in terms of calcium ratios. And matter of fact, the higher the protein, the more calcium draw the body loses. So they don't know chemistry. They're calling themselves a holistic. That makes me sick. And that's why you guys are the new true holistic physicians on the planet. There's no university can give you a degree because the universities are teaching the wrong stuff. They're teaching acid things. They're teaching bullshit stuff. I don't know what people are learning. I look at these graduating from some of these schools about holistic, and it's like, what did you learn? How do you heal people? They don't know the first thing. They come into the clinic and say, what do you do with this? What do you do with this? They don't have the first clue. When you go out of school, you should be knocking people out with your healing. You should know exactly how you deal with this. Even in my short 5-day seminars, if you come out of there, I want to make sure you know what's up and how to heal people. 5 days. You know, I was telling that to the California child services, and they said, this is how academically inclined people are. They don't realize within a short period, in 1 year of school, you should be able to knock any condition out. Bam! Just like that. You might not have an extensive knowledge of herbs and things like this, but a year in school, my God, if you had a year in school under me, I don't know. And I really feel confused on what to do to fix this. That's the problem with you holistic physicians that call yourselves holistic, but you tell them to go ahead and eat dead animal tissue. It's okay if you want to do it on the side as a cheat, but if you think there's something healthy about eating dead tissue and stagnant blood, necrotic blood, well, you guys are friggin' nuts. There's nothing healthy about that. There's nothing healthy about paleo diets. There's not longevity with paleo diets. None of these things. Where's your proof? Take a look around. Man's been doing these things. I mean, you just can't do these things if you want health. We're a tropical species. Unless you go back to tropical thinking and tropical diets, you're going to suffer. And the proof is what we read here all the time. You know, and it's just sad that you see holistic physicians saying that you need high-protein diets. We see this all the time in here. Naturopaths come in, these people full of cancer and stuff, their naturopaths put them on high-protein, and guess what happened to them? Their cancer soared, their inflammation soared, all these things soared, and their practitioners just drop them. Why don't they change their mindset and understand? And that's what I'm saying. We got education screwed around here. And you see the fight right now where we're trying to make everybody equally educated. It's like, oh, excuse me. We've got all these different levels. And there's no spirituality in education. It's all mind training. Well, this is why we're in the narcissistic problems that we have. Man's the only one. Man's better. I'm better. Oh, my God. Thank you so much for your... Oh, thank you, Lindsay. Yeah. Going to be some work, honey. I mean, you can use the grounds up in your gum and stuff to help pull that abscess out, but you really got a lot of work ahead of you. I don't know. I mean, you could probably, you might be able to save the root and everything and you know, clean that out, but you're starting to get a yellow look on that tooth. Probably on its way out. So I don't know what to tell you. I would probably, if it was me, I would probably do a root canal. Depends what your lymph system looks like and what kind of constitution you have and what kind of dedication you have to fix that. I have to say that. But you want to get that acid out of those tissues, or you just can't stop this, because even if you do a root canal, you still have the gums and everything else, and you still have, you know, the breakdown of that tooth, because you have blood and lymph flow everywhere. So you got to think about all these things and what's worth it to you and how much self-discipline and everything you're going to do realistically to deal with this. You know, that's all I can say. But I'll have to say that you need to address that whole lymphatic in your mouth, or you lose all your teeth in the future. You just have to realize, you know, what's going on with one, what's going on with the many, at one level or another, maybe minor right now. My name is Christina. I'm 32. She's Greek. Yeah. You guys get nice suntans. Dang. I had a friend, she was Greek, and she'd sit out in the sun for 1 hour and come back. I go, my God, have you been sitting in the sun the last month? No, just out there for an hour or two. I'm going, oh my God, the beautiful skin. Was never sick before, being diagnosed, never in the hospital, had a lot of ear infections. Boom, right there, stop right there. What's ear infections? What system? Blood? No, lymphatics. The ear candle, you know, clean your ears, get this drainage going down the body, get your lymph nodes clean, get your kidneys filtering, that sort of thing. Because that tells you already your lymphatic system was backed up in your head. But, you know, milk drinkers, cheese drinkers, and it's what happened to me, bam, you know, loaded of mucus, and yet we keep selling these, and it's like, you know what, it's time that men have love for each other, compassion for each other, instead of selling a product they know that's going to hurt them. Holy crap. You know, there was someone else that made a statement here. I don't know where it is. I haven't come across of it. And I had mentioned something about our school, and somebody said, oh, he's going to be another Dan McDonald site or something like that, you know. And that was insulting to me, because you notice there's no pop-ups on this site. There better never be, because I'm not here for the money. There's so many practitioners out there, like I said, that are on M.L.Ms, that are making tens of thousands of dollars per month from selling you supplements. I don't recommend M.L.Ms to anyone, those multi-level marketing, those pyramid, because you know who gets screwed? You do. You know, we talked about this before, like a noni juice. Maybe you have 10% fruit juice in a noni thing, and how much of that's actual noni? You know, it's just such a ripoff out there, and then you pay double what you should for it anyway. I don't do any of those things. I don't believe in selling pop-ups. I don't believe in doing anything like that. I mean, this is an educational site, and it's not geared for money. It's geared to help you guys how to get your wellness there. And I don't care what products you use. Find the products that best suit you. We have our own. Our club has our own. But let me tell you, you appreciate the club because it's very, very protective, and particularly to you healers out there. And we could have chapters all around the world, and it saves franchise money and everything else. I'm telling you, it's very, very protective. And I want that for each and every one of you, to be protected, but to feel like you can have the constitutional right to work with people. And this is true in every country. So I don't know, it's... Anyway, I think your videos are wonderful. Oh, thanks, honey. I love you for everything. Oh, thanks, sweetheart. I'm going to try to make a long story short, but it never works out that way. I know it. On August 12, I noticed a large baseball-sized lump under my left arm. Uh-oh. That's not good. What's under the left arm? Same thing under the right arm. A whole bunch of septic tanks, right? Uh-oh. I'd had a terrible cough that caused me not to breathe. Uh-oh. So, when you're seeing the lumps of the lymph nodes, guess what? You're backing up even into the lung structure. And nothing ever good comes of that. Remember, breast cancer, lung cancer, they're brother and sister. They're right there. Oh my God. In September, I had gone to a naturopath, had her tea, and the lump went away. Yeah! Good naturopath then. I like that. By November 2012, I was diagnosed with stage 2A Hodgkin's lymphoma and was terrified by what my doctor... Oh, she didn't detox you enough, did she? Doctors told me and went straight into... By what my doctors told me, she was terrified and went straight into chemo. Wow. That's what I'm saying. It's so important for you guys to get out and help people, to educate them about chemo. My God. My husband wanted to treat me outside the country. My family didn't allow it. Well, your husband was the smarter of the bunch. The family freaks out, but I've seen a lot of families bury their family members because of their ignorance. And I'll have to say to family members that think chemo is a cure, you need to go rethink your thinking, because when you force your children into chemo, you're forcing them into the ground. The handful out of tens of thousands that survive it isn't worth mentioning. I mean, it's just so friggin' out there. I mean, this is unbelievable. I finished AVD chemo in April 12. Yeah, so only had one type of chemo once in January, and it caused a horrifying reaction in me. Oh, myosin, was that a chemo or an antibiotic? See, I never heard of this one, and so I never had it in my chemo regimen again. Of course, the cancer is still there. Well, it isn't just still there, sweetheart. You just damaged billions of your cells. So now your lymph nodes are overworked, and of course they weren't filtering anyway. So now all these damaged cells can't be taken to the lymph nodes anymore, or have a hard time getting there for the macrophages to deal with. So this becomes the horrifying right there, because when you can't move them out and the acids are just ravishing all the cells, it just escalates and becomes bigger. And I was scared into going straight into ICE chemotherapy, 2 sessions, 3 days each, and an immediate autologous stem cell transplant, where I gave my own stem cells back to me. So they scared me the shit out of me, said there was nothing else they can do. They legally cannot tell you to go alternative holistic because they can lose their license to practice medicine. Maybe it'd be a good idea for them to lose their license practicing medicine and get into healing people the right way. Who cares? Medical doctors have to run from that, like Democrats have to run from Obama, because they're going to lose, baby. You've screwed up America. So I went straight into ICE chemo and a stem cell transplant without blinking. Oh, how we know where this case is going. In October 2013, my original oncologist said, well, one dot came back on your scan 3 months after scat, came home August 6th, scat, 30, and said, I'm sorry, you have to go for an, hello, well, thank you. F you. I wanted to tell him I nearly died during the auto stem cell transplant. No kidding. The only normal oncologist I met told me to get it biopsied. The third oncologist doctor at Columbia in New York City told me they wouldn't even have done a CAT scan on me. Uh-oh. I'm kind of liking that doc. who are a little more truthful. There's thousands of drugs I can try indefinitely, in other words, until I'm dead, so we kiss them all goodbye. I think it's about time. That's what I'm saying, you guys. Don't get fear-based. And those are facing this, let them review these videos and try to help them, because fear is the driver to hellville. And the same thing with these experiences of having dark shadows and things like this. Don't be fear-based. You control your own world. Don't let anybody in. You got plenty of knowledge. You got us to help you. You've got all the masters in the world and out of the world to help you. You've got all kinds of help. So we got to get this out where people have help. And naturopaths, please get on board. Start getting people healed the right way. This naturopath had the opportunity to fix this lady, and she blew by it. Helped her a little bit. But in all fairness to naturopaths, no one's taught about the kidneys. Get the kidneys. Get this understanding, and maybe we can get this figured out properly and have true anatomy taught. You know, we seem to think 21st century there's nothing man doesn't know about the body. Are you kidding me? I mean, we medically knows the least and are the most scared. I mean, it's ridiculous. I mean, the treatments they use tells you that, and you can see by their lack of understanding. I got my port removed and started Essiac tea, more juicing, no sugar, meats, dairy, only Greek yogurt called FAGE, no processed. I'd throw that one out the window as fast as I could. No processed foods, no caffeine, no kind of medicine at all. Started hydrotherapy, lymphatic drainage massage, exercising, right machine, frequency waters, alkaline waters, supplements, detoxes, all organic food, and I feel freaking awesome. Yeah! Now, let's kick it up another notch. Let's get rid of the vegetables. Let's get up in the fruits, berries, and melons. Let's get the kidneys. Let's get in there and let's get aggressive. Let's roll up your sleeves and let's get moving, because you're going to get chemo out for some time yet. And this acids are sitting in there with your lymph system just chewing and chewing and chewing. Get this lymph moving. Disgustingly enough now when I could, it's because since December I have been bringing up a hard form mucus from my throat. No kidding. Because the more acidic, the more the mucus gets dehydrated and hardened. No kidding. And it's going to come out of your lungs, locked in your lungs. So hydration, interstitial hydration, how do you get that? That it is non-smelly and oftentimes ranging from the size of a pinky nail to the length of my pinky. I am waiting to have it biopsied. Don't worry about biopsying it. Forget it. You're freaking out on little things too. You're freaking out on the wrong stuff. Who cares what this crap is coming out? You're going to get black stuff, green stuff, brown stuff. Who cares? Alien looking stuff. Who cares what it's in it? You can send it to biopsy, but who cares, honey? Get in there and detox. Put your energy and your mind power to focus on the truth as opposed to running around chasing rainbows that doesn't exist. You've got to get into this healing. Look at how you're feeling, and you're still not at the level you need to be. And you get in there and get this done, and you'll be done. Because if you buy, who cares what it is? Look at how you're getting it out. Focus on that, but get deeper into that world, okay? I'm also rebounding, moving around a lot. Be careful about too much until you're filtering or you start feeling your knees and hips. And now I'm getting my mercury fillings removed, smart girl, which caused a small swelling in my neck, I bet. Keep detoxing. Dig in. Your lymph system's a mess. I'm sorry I share my story with other patients, so I copied and pasted some. Thank you. Oh, thanks, sweetheart. Listen, tear it up. Tear this detox up the right way, and you'll be quite fine. Maybe. I mean, too much chemo, you put yourself in the grave. This is from Jared Sweet. Ooh. Thanks. I continue to watch your videos and learn and laugh. I hope so. I try to laugh. You know what? There's just so much disparity out there on this planet, you know, and it's like we've got to be the light. You know, some of us have to be the light. Some of us have to be the strength and the power, and that's what we need in every one of you. Don't let people bully you around. Don't let people take you into a world you don't want to go. I don't care if it's your brother, your mother, or your husband, or your wife. Stand strong on the ground you feel. If it kills you, it kills you. But you stood strong on that ground. But Learn true healing. That's what we used to call my book, the Detox Mineral Source book. It was called True Healing for years, and it came in a 3-ring binder. And you all got it in class. I had a book, I'll show you my book. That's what the Miracle Detox Source book used to look like. That was your school book. Thanks for your common sense approach. I appreciate that, my friend, because common sense is awareness, and that's what we're trying to breed in all of us, is more awareness, more common sense, understand pathways, and common sensely what life has to deal with to have life and expression. And that's as simple as it is. The mind just takes things so far out there, and getting into nano levels and getting into some levels is just ridiculous. It occupies the mind. It takes away happiness and joy. It breeds fear, and it breeds that, oh, there's just nothing you can do but try this type of syndrome. And that's all crazy thinking. Like spirochetes, oh my God, they're going to say, you're done. That's bull crap. My question is about the roof near Adam's apple. Near Adam's apple, roof of my mouth, burning a little bit when breaking a water fast. That's enough to say, though, if you feel any burning anywhere, that's acidosis. And that tells you, especially in the palate, you want to get all this out. But the only way to get it out is detoxification. You can swish some bicarbonate in the mouth and stuff like that, but realistically, this is interstitial. And there's little or nothing. This is going to be helpful to pull it out. I mean, it might help to hydrate. It might help to give you some cationic movement, some movement of fluid. Where like this lady before, she had so much chemo that her mucous membranes have dried up. Her mucus that's in her lungs have dried up. And this is going to be very, very serious. Cystic fibrosis, ring a bell. Anything that scars, that's all acids. And it's so much harder to deal with scar tissue, of course, initially, because it just takes a while to hydrate and to get lymph moving to where the body can chew up these scars. And it just takes a while. The body can do it. But it's like regeneration of teeth and bone or anything else. You've got to dig in and get to these deeper levels. I have undertook a few water fasts. I'm only 25. Good man. And try to do 1 to 2 days every 3 months. My longest water fast being 4 days. That's okay. You're doing it. You're rookie. Nah, you're doing it. I'm pretty proud of you. Anything you can do is a step outside the norm. And that's a step to your spiritual growth. It's a step to opening the doors to a brand new, beautiful world of Wellville. It's that starting to walk down the proper road, Jarrett. Whenever breaking the fast, it is always broken with dead, ripe fruit. Why? I noticed that these past 2 water fasts, the moment I started chewing that first bite of food, the roof of my mouth started burning pretty good. Well, it shows how acidic you are in that area. So I would get my kidneys filtering at 25. You know you got kidneys and adrenals. So you want to get those kidneys filtering, get those adrenals up, and start cleaning and getting some detox. Maybe a good cold and flu-like symptom would be really good. Find someone that's sick out there and try to hug them. Try to get into a cold and flu-like scenario, and you'll pull a lot of mucus out of this sinus area and stuff and give you a reprieve with that. Because that's just Latin, you know that. Even though I broke it with ripe watermelon. Well, it's just showing you. This is all acidosis. After continued eating, it goes away. Exactly. But it comes back, and that shows you stagnation. You're hydrating a little bit, you get that symptom, you kind of just like putting some bicarbonate in there, and it goes away, but it comes back, and that means you're stagnant in your lymph system. It's continuing to burn, and there's a lot of palate cancers. We just had a guy clean his palate cancer out of him by using the Heal-All tea, and that's another thing you can do is hold that Heal-All tea in your mouth and have some drawing to the palate. But your Adam's apples down here, you're talking roof of your mouth. I know the fruit is dead ripe. Yeah, I wouldn't use overly ripe fruit because now everybody's bitching about fungus, and this is the thing I had with Dr. Jensen. He loved his stuff, his fruit overly ripe. But the problem with that is now you're bitching about fungus and candida, but now you're eating it because that's what ferments carbohydrates is the fungal community. So why would you eat overly ripe fruit? I don't see that. It's not tasty. It's repulsive. It starts to push you away from it. And that's just nature. You know, nature. You have to listen to our inner guidance more and our intuitiveness more. You know, my little Chihuahua is like Chipurky, all white, cute little thing. But she's only a few months old, probably 6 months old now, and she knows the green. She's out there picking the greens that she wants. Intuitiveness. Love it. Love to see that. Survivalist. Type of allergic, let me see. And was wondering if the body, since the fast mode, treated this as some type of allergic reaction. No, if you had a real allergic reaction, you'd have a, like a scratchy throat or the throat closing, an anaphylactic shock, so to speak. But fruit does draw and pull, and you can get that swelling. You can feel that astringent action on your mouth. And so, but just telling you what you do, I would use some Hill All tea, make some tea, and then hold it, while you're watching TV or something, just hold it in your mouth, spit it out in a cup and take some more, and do some drawing and pulling and clean the gums in the roof of the mouth. At the same time, I would definitely turn on my lymphatic system. Oh, there's so many of these guys that I just don't have the time. I wish I did. Here we go. Quick question. This is from Glinda. My friend has some wacky kidney numbers. They are on many meds, antivirals, high blood pressure, insulin, been taking steroids for asthma. Oh my God. Well, the problem with this, Glinda, is that, this is going to wreck this person's adrenals and kidneys even more. And this is the case, of course, shows you in your face that your kidney numbers are all over the place, meaning that the lymph system's all over the place, meaning that virals can take hold and things like this. Outside of that, they're just in there watching. But the high blood pressure is definitely an indication of kidney weakness and kidney inflammation, that sort of thing. Insulin, that means that his adrenals are down or his beta cells are down. So that's a problem. If he has asthma, immediately that's his adrenals, so he's running low neurotransmitters. That's a big deal. That's breathing and heart and everything else and bowel movements, and this is kidney and adrenals. This is kidney and adrenals, kidney and adrenals, kidney and adrenals. So when you're looking at kidney and adrenals, these are eliminative organs. Remember we talked about liver's not an eliminative organ. The kidneys are. And so you have to treat them nice, and kidneys do not like high proteins. Kidneys don't like proteins at all when they're in trouble. If anybody of you got kidney pain, just tell a raw diet for a week or two, and then have a piece of meat or something. Let me show you what happens to your kidney pain. Prove it on yourself, It is my belief that the meds are hurting the kidneys, and probably. The diet prescribed is mostly animal flesh, dairy, and the like with no med. Well, this kid will never come out of it. Your friend, Glinda, will never come out of it. It just keep going down to Hellville. And if you want your friend to turn her or himself around to Wellville, you got to get rid of all this crap they're giving them. Can you imagine a doctor giving someone dead tissue, dairy products? I don't care, in the 21st century. Dairy products have been known to be so bad for you. Even the Dairymen's Association knows it, I'm sure. They're not stupid. And you just got, or maybe, but you just got, none of this all hurts kidneys, fills the lymph system full of mucus. This is all insane stuff. And so no fruits and veggies due to potassium. And I can't worry about that. You can't worry about your potassium. You got to go after your kidneys. And if this guy isn't on dialysis yet, it sounds like he's walking there. And if he's still peeing, you got to get a hold of him and view these videos, because once he loses his urination, he's going to stuck in Hellville. When you're on dialysis, you're stuck in Hellville, man. We just have been having a lot of conversations about that, and hard for us to get you out of there. So you don't want to stop peeing altogether, and dialysis will do that to you. So you've got to fix this now. You just have to just watch your potassium. Sometimes things look like potassium and you're going to have heart failure, but you're asymptomatic with it. I'm saying you really have to work with the kidneys and stuff. If you have to take a med for potassium, go ahead, but I'm telling you, you have to be real careful here. And you're taking way too much phosphorus. And then they're going to give you phosphorus binders because your phosphorus is all over the place, but they're telling you to eat phosphorus-rich foods now. And that takes you into dialysis, and then your phosphorus goes wacko, and it's insane. They're insane. They have no, I don't know what it is. That's the mind. Piece here, piece there, piece there. That's how they treat you. It's ridiculous. Their levels are high. Obviously, they're in kidney failure. I told them that not eating fruits and vegetables are bullshit, absolutely, and to heck with that diet. You were right, Glenn, I'm telling you. I mean, you can do all you can. They love veggies. They have a desire to eat a plant-based diet. Haven't eaten dairy in nearly 2 years, but the doc scared them. What do I tell them? Love you too, dear one. Tell them if they don't get their butt in gear, their docs are going to take them to Hellville. And ask them which one of them has ever cured kidney weaknesses. We regenerate the kidneys every day. So they're listening to people that have no clue to Wellville, no clue. They're telling to eat the very thing that destroys kidneys. People that have kidney weakness eat meats and dairy products. Jesus criminy. So you're right, sweetheart. That's what I love about you guys. You guys are getting smart as a whip. And I'm telling you, it just does my heart good, and all the other spiritual beings out there, to see you guys' lights starting to turn on, and we're starting to make a difference here on this planet. I just only wish I had more time, but I am going down to seeing people and going to spend more time doing videos for you guys, and we'll kick them up. We'll kick them up another notch. God, there's so many questions here I'd like to get to, But everything I'm saying for one of you goes to all of you. If you didn't have any of this information but just how to detoxify properly, there isn't anything you can't correct that way. Because detoxification is a process of changing your nutritive ingestion and eliminating the things that are hurting you. When you talk about toxicity again earlier, we're talking about acids. Now, yeah, we have some toxins on foods. We have pesticides and herbicides and stuff like that. But when you're talking infections and toxemia and things, you're talking about acidosis. You're talking about waste from cells. You're talking about the poop from cells. That sort of thing. A nice visitor, huh? So I have a question. What do you do when you have, and I am desperate. Let me see here. This is Debbie. Hi, guys. Debbie and the hubby. So I have a question. What do you do when you have, question mark, and I am desperate, so please be patient with my question. It is long, not that long. Arrhythmia is AFP, atrial fib, AFP. I mean, I spent a lot of years in heart work, and maybe I forgot what AFP is. Is that atrial fibrillation or something? Bradycardia means slow heart rate. AICD in situ arterial coronary bypass surgery. Now there is no surgery that will help. Chronic CHF, systolic hyperlipidemia, HTN benign, cardiomyopathy, ischemia, chronic ischemia. This is not good, guys. Ischemia means she's getting severely reduced blood flow to cells. That's not good. And let's go back. This whole thing is not good. All right. So let's start with some of the causative factors first. Let's go to congestive heart failure, CHF. You're going right into the lymph system. The lymph system, of course, is your protective system and sewer system against cell waste and cell production of acids, right? Metabolitic waste, respiratory waste, things like this. Okay, so when you look at coronary occlusions or blockages, you're looking at mainly cholesterol or calcifications. Both of these are interstitial. Both of these are lymphatic in origin, and this is all tied to your lymph system. Always is, always will be. Same thing with hyperlipidemia. Lipidemia, which is the lipid, high-level cholesterols. Well, what is cholesterol used? What is the lipid system used in your body for? Absolutely, acidosis. And acidosis is met with either lipids or with calcium. You don't want those. You want adrenal steroids to meet them. But that tells you you're running low in adrenal steroids. Well, to have this whole scenario of high lipids and congestive heart failures and occlusions of the coronaries, you're going to go right back to kidneys and adrenals. Now, what nervous system controls the depolarization of the valves? The autonomic. So where's the hot seat to the autonomic? Adrenal glands and stomach. So this is why you got in and clean up the GI tract and get in the kidneys and adrenals and start getting this lymph out. Because as you move this inflammation / lymphedema out of the heart and everywhere else, it then backs off everything. And the same thing with the sinus node, your arrhythmias and things like this. The bradycardia, though, you're either really slamming down on the nerves of the heart, or this is all backed up even in your thyroid. And now your thyroid is hypoactive, making for bradycardia. And you can get bradycardia syndromes. There's all kinds of syndromes out of this. You've had coronary bypass surgery. Yeah, you're full of fluid there. You're full of lymph stagnation, full of acidosis. You've got occluded from this. You're getting ischemia from this. This is all very serious stuff, guys. Chronic ischemic. Oh, Jesus, criminy. Conduction disorder, right bundle branch block. So even your bundle branch block, see, so you're going to get into, your heart pauses. And no. You got to get these kidneys and adrenals filtering. I'd like to see what the creatinine levels are, because you're getting into kidney failure here, I'm sure. Primary problems. We are on a 1 liter a day fluid intake with heart healthy diet, sodium-free diet. Now this is where I'd be real careful with the water intake or fluid intake, even with juices. Be very, very careful here, honey. This is serious, and more fluid intake means more swelling because you're so acidic. You got to address this acidosis, and you can't do it by more water because you'll get more congestive heart failure, and pulmonary edema is going to keep him on you, and now you're going to get a breathing problem. This is all serious stuff, guys. And this is a person that can be on their way out of here. So you really got to back all this up and fix this. And you can fix it well. Recommend the heart formula. Also recommend lower circulation. Keep your blood flowing. I'd also recommend the cayenne garlic formula, which is a vascular dilator. At the same time, I recommend getting to these kidneys and get them filtering and getting into the adrenal glands, get your neurotransmitters up and start moving that lymph. I get into my bowels and do some cleaning on the bowel walls too, because you got a descending colon that's very influential to the heart, remember? And you can't get away from sodium because that's your sodium-potassium balances, and that's back to the adrenals and kidneys again. Just why the lady before is talking about high potassium levels, kidney failure, and adrenal sodium. This is why you crave salt when you have weak adrenal glands. And now we will be in the hospital for arrhythmia. M.L.M procedure, I forgot what that is, to help get this heart back into rhythm. A cardioversion? They're doing it with a med, I think, instead of cardiovert. So it sounds like you're an AFib, if possible. But you tell you what, I want you to also look at the parathyroid in this case. If we're looking at an atrial fibrillation, you want to look at not only and a bradycardia. If you're atrial fib and you have bradycardia, it simply means atrial fibrillation. This is what it says. Your atrium is fibrillating, firing from all sorts of positions, meaning that you're highly acidic and you got blockages in these areas, and blockages come from the lymph system, then affect nerve and blood flow. So now you're firing from all sides. The heart rate that you see out of that comes from how many of these firings are actually depolarizing the tricuspid, so you can get in your opening up your valve so you can get into, or even the mitral valve where you can get into your chambers, your lower chambers. And that's some serious stuff. That's why you must pull and get this excessive fluid out. Well, that means you're excessive acidic, but then you would be with high lipids. And so all of this is all tied to the same thing. He's only, it's a man, and I can tell he's balding. Absolutely, you can see it in him. And he's only 67 years old. I am losing him. Then stop and start going into what you know to be true. Address these kidneys. Look at the bags. It's kidneys. Right before my eyes. And do or would anyone take the risk of a man this terribly sick? Risk? Hell yes. Nothing stops us, does it, guys? All you Facebooks, nothing stops us, right? You don't stop. You can save your husband. You have to be careful about the hospital with him, but you can save your husband. He's got to get all raw. First of all raw. And I do high fruits, but I'd stay away from too many watery fruits. I wouldn't juice anything right now. And I'd really hit on those kidneys and adrenals, and you can pull your hubby away from this. And the thing that concerns me that is his low bradycardia, I mean his fires are not getting through well. It gets too low, you know what they're going to do. They're going to put a pacemaker in him. So this is important to get that parathyroid and thyroid up. This will get this and get this lymph moving. This will also help to hopefully get more fires, get that stabilization of the SA node. Or would anyone take the risk of this material? Risking taking him away from his doctors and medicine? Heck yeah, risking that's what'll kill him. Because he said they're doing nothing to help this. They're trying to treat it. You can't, at this level, your husband's at, sweetheart, you can't treat. This is an important one. I probably should have somebody scan these and give me the vital ones now, because this is vital. When was this put up there? I don't see a date. Oh my God, absolutely. This is where your hubby needs to call in here and get an appointment and get going. But they'll help him immediately get going on this. But you've got to get going on this. You've got to get your kidneys filtering. I mean, part of this is connected right to the kidneys. Right there with the adrenal glands. And that's backed up all of this and affected the neurological system, but also the parathyroid and calcium utilization, because low calcium can also create a whole bunch of problems for you right here. So, heck yeah, I try to get Chris to get this up. He's in school all week, but I'll try to get him to throw this up on at home, and I hope there's something there that you can grab this as fast as you can, sweetheart, because there is something. And I don't know how to flag this. There's no phone number or anything else how to flag this, and my staff to give him a call. But you dang right I would pull him. Are you kidding? None of that's scary. What's scary is if he doesn't do any of this. Then I can tell you the way he's going, and it's obvious, and you know it. So these are great cases for me. I love these cases. Not that I wish it on anybody. Hell no. How does coffee affect, this is Dave, how does coffee affect the adrenal glands? Overstimulation. It is the coffee itself or the caffeine more than anything else. What about decaf coffee? Yeah, but I've heard all kinds of chemical processes involved in that. Black tea, green tea, some has a caffeine. What causes TMJ? Look to your parathyroid, low calcium utilization. Start moving your lymph, clean all this up. Get your calcium utilization up there with a parathyroid. Rebuild structure, strengthen structure, because you'll start getting loose joints and everything else too with that. But move lymph. I'd get away from all the teas, tell you the truth. If you're going to do a tea, make it a healing tea that has an effect in the body that you want. If you're going to drink a tea, make it a tea, like I said, that'll get in and get some things done. Get into the kidneys, help move lymph, things like this. Then you're drinking something that's empowering the human body to get well. I like this. Fun. I like fun. Hello, Doc. You work as much. Oh, thanks. Especially because so few people spread the same message. I know. Isn't that too bad? Well, we all need to spread this message because it's just common sense. It's the way nature is. No one has to take credit. We're all here together. So it's just good stuff. It's just my question is: can a person with a weak constitution eventually change the way? Oh yeah, wavy fibers. Now, if you have wavy fibers in the iris, parathyroid, get to your parathyroid, strengthen your parathyroid, because your fibers represent connective tissue and you're losing that. So you want to look at that parathyroid gland. If you have a lot of these lacunas, you're like me, we have some genetics involved. I've got a lot of lacunas. Holy crap. That's why I really appreciate strong genes, so the Constitution becomes so strong as a person born with a strong Constitution. Oh, I think you could. I mean, I've seen some incredible eyes that have had these lacunas and got these healing lines in them. I've done well with mine. Mine's got healing lines all in them, but I haven't pounded the pavement for years. I mean, I've been torn up and down, trying to practice, not practice, doing the spirituality, going, not handling the, I mean, it's just, there's just so many pathways that it's taken me down. It's like, holy crap. I'm jealous for Yaz and you guys that go to the islands and enjoy that. I've never been able to do that. I've been so poor and had to work my butt off raising families and trying to help and just it is what it is. Who cares? We're souls. We're free. We just have our bodies. We're here to do what we can do, and let's make a stamp, guys. We have to make a stamp. This world is hurting real bad, and there's no reason this guy should die here with the heart problems. But there's no way they can fix anything like this. So the problem with him doing, he's just treating right now, and it's just waiting for the inevitable. It's like, no. And there's plenty of things we can do to dilate the vascular system, keep blood flowing, while at the same time we're opening up that lymph, and we're getting this cationic move, so all the swelling, everything, all the lipids, all the calcifications can dissolve away, and everything open up. It's the only way you can do that. And it's the only thing that can do that. It's chemistry. It's that simple. It's just chemistry. Hello, Doc. This is NJANF. How long would it take to turn a dark hazel eye with chronic bowels into an original blue color? Probably a year to 2 years, I would say, if you really hit it hard. What if somebody chose to do a juice fast for a year? Well, Babe did a juice fast for, 4 or 5 years? Babe, I haven't heard from you. How much would that affect the color of the eye? Hey, huge. You guys in class are going to see what Marcy has done with her eyes, and it'll shock you to how good Marcy, because she's got a strong constitution, but what she's had to put up as a youth and what her eyes look like now. Impressive as heck. Incredible work, Marcy. And here's one. This is from Katie, or Kate. Hi, Dr. Morse. I have Lyme's. No, you don't. Your body might have a condition called inflammation, and you might be backed up. You might have some Lyme factors, and I am desperate to get well. Then you've got to detox. You've got to get in and clean out this sewer system, the terrain. Any cells that are damaged are going to go to the lymph nodes, no problem. I mean, we see Lyme's go away every day here. You hear it on the YouTube. You hear it on the Facebook. I mean, come on. Get in and detox your lymph system. And this is true with Lyme's, lupus, fibromyalgia, arthritis. The same focus, guys. You got to get in and get it. No, anybody ever get cured of Lyme's from antibiotic use? No, you got worse. And the reason is you can't kill bacteria. They blame Lyme's on the bacteria, don't they, huh? Really? You know what? I mean, these guys are more insane. I don't want to go on antibiotics. Oh, here we go. Well, most people have, and you don't want to go on them because it's ridiculous. This is your sewer system. If you damage cells, expect virals or spirochetes to take hold, right? I mean, this is all insane. Get your body detoxed and you'll be well. Clean and strengthen. Clean and strengthen. The two words that designate the journey to Wellville. Clean and strengthen, and you have plenty of tools to do that with. You've got plenty of food sources, can't say they're real good around the world that's not in the tropics, and then you've got plenty of great herbs worldwide to help you. And so the tools are there, the awareness is there, you got Facebook sites, you got beautiful people all over the world. You guys, I'm so proud of you, I can't even say. Yeah, I'm just so proud of what all of you are doing to helping the world. You need to be proud of yourselves, not from a narcissistic view, but from a God viewpoint. You guys are being great vehicles for your own intelligence and the intelligence of all things. Just incredible stuff. Have you cured anyone from this before I've had this? How many? How many? How many? I mean, we don't treat diseases because it's a wrong thinking. And then you're lost in Hellville, and you never get well because they don't exist. You get into your terrain, you get into your lymphatic system, which is your main immune system. Of course, this is where where the microbes are too. So you get into that system and you deal with that system properly, and you'll be in Wellville, guaranteed. I mean, everybody does. You know, you got to be pretty friggin' down not to get to Wellville following these protocols. You got to be, you know, emaciated and so acidic that you've just been chewed up all over and it's time to go. But people like this gentleman here, he doesn't have to die from heart attacks and things like this and congestive heart failures and stuff, but they'll lead him down that road, and they've got him on the type of diet that took him down there, and now he's going to keep going down there. So unless you change all that, nothing's going to change, is it? Unless you change your journey and the path you've been walking down, nothing's going to change down your pathway. Why would it? Because you haven't changed anything. Right? And it's your lifestyle that gets you. You know, your genetics, yeah, we can argue that, but you can strengthen and rebuild. I bet you're fed up with the symptoms. I would be too. I have give up sugar, gluten, dairy, meat, nuts, and everything processed. So basically, I'm just living off fruit and veggies. It's all you need, sweetheart. That's all there is. You know, it's an illusion to think that we've created a lot of other goodies for us, but the reality is fruits, berries, melons, and veggies are our lot, and vegetables on the minor side, please. Especially when you want to get in lymph, get your kidneys filtering. This is very important. Get your lymph up. Get your adrenals up. Get your lymph filtering through those kidneys, so there is no getting well. As far as I see, maybe a little bit, but you want to get those kidneys filtering because you can go into much deeper problems as these acids start damaging your cells, and that's the places you really don't want to go. So really, Katie, you can get this done. Thousands of people under our protocols have gotten rid of their Lymes. Get on the Facebook. Hello, my friend. First, I want to say thanks. I love your spiritual talks. Oh, that's good. Some of the things you speak of I have experienced and didn't even know it. Yeah, that's good. Thanks. And it's 21 years old from Alaska. Yeah, isn't that incredible? And who took Accutane? You answered my question, but I have a few more. Is it better to have a cheat food like a piece of pizza or smoke some weed from a vaporizer in terms of which will hurt my recovery more? Well, I think the pizza would hurt your recovery more. I do. I would think your pizza would hurt your recovery more. But with that said, a cheat once in a while, so what? You know, so what? I just have to tell you, nobody's perfect, and I don't know if there is such a word, you know what I mean? So you got to do what you got to do. And so a little puff on a vaporizer once in a while, so what? A little pizza once in a blue moon, so what? What do you do in between times? Hit it hard, hit it raw, but the healthier you get, that piece of pizza is probably going to kick your butt. I'm just saying. Also, why is it when I begin eating raw foods with the herbs, my kidneys hurt more and my scalp burns even more than before? Ugh, well, that's not good. And that shows you that's where your troubles are. So you want to watch the type of fruit you eat. Make sure it's ripe as possible. Stay away from the acid fruits as much as possible. This is telling that you got a lot. Do you have dandruff or anything? This is just telling you got acids all the way up into the scalp and head area. It means you're going to go balding in time, hair loss, memory loss, all those nice little things. And this burning, whenever you feel a burning, and in the fruit that burns you, it's the acids that are burning you. Fruit's just very astringent, very active. But with that said, if you don't have ripe fruit, it's acidic, somewhat, so you have to be careful with that. But it's just telling you your kidneys are a big issue for you. So you want to go after those kidneys with herbs and heal those kidneys and get them filtering. Get the adrenal glands on top too. Your kidneys need them. Is this a good sign? It's a sign that you're getting action. And if you're on raw, it's always a good sign. But it's letting you know, it's that knock at your door, letting you know where your troubles are mostly. And that's when you start detoxing. If you hadn't noticed, you become keenly aware of your weaknesses. This is just good detox. It's just obvious detox, and you can correlate those with your eye pictures. How cool. Because it makes it harder to stick with the raw food when it happens. Yeah, I bet it does. But you know what? You need a good detox. So get down in the subacids with the grapes and apples and pears and things like that. Watermelon season's coming. You're in Alaska, so I don't know what you get trucked up to you. But do your best up there that you can get the food that you need, And just do your very best. Maybe visit a tropical island for a while and enjoy some warm and some good detox. But detox you must, because your kidneys are knocking at your door real strong here, and you're young, right? Yeah, 21 years old, so you know immediately you have weak kidneys. And if you're in Alaska, there's a lot of protein consumption in Alaska. And the protein would not be advisable. If you're feeding your kidneys on fruits and berries and stuff and vegetables, the proteins are just going to knock them down, man. So stay away from those proteins. And thanks for your watching the videos and taking care of yourself. Here's an enabler right here. That's funny. I tell you, but some people know they're enablers. And I, Dr. Morris, keep spitting that healing, alkalizing truth always. Yeah, I bet you're not an enabler. I bet you're one that really goes after it. I read yesterday about RH, proteins, blood typing, having a role in CO2 transport. Really. Out of the cell, is it possible that people that have the RH negative will have more difficult processing carbon dioxide? Well, you don't want... No, I don't think so, tell you the truth. And incidentally, fruit, which is more abundantly created from sugar metabolism than fat metabolism, well, I mean, carbon dioxide is carbon dioxide. It can be broken apart, turned to water. I mean, it can be done to several things, but... I wouldn't consider a protein factor like that, an RH factor, a problem with your carbon dioxide levels. I would take a look at cleaning the whole body out lymphatically, and clean the liver out, clean the spleen out, make sure everything's clean that way, make sure your kidneys are filtering, and you should be fine with carbon dioxide conversion and elimination, because you're going to eliminate some carbon dioxide out, evaporate it through the skin even. And incidentally, let me see... is it possible that it is a mutation that stemmed from an unnatural higher fat diet due to human migration? All these mutations are absolutely, I think, a victim of our migrations, or an effect of our migrations and what we had to do to survive as a species, knowing that we're a tropical species. But to tell you the truth, I mean, this is creation. It's already created. This was meant to be. Man was meant to do all these things because it's maturing the spiritual side of the consciousness. This is, you see the mind. We've taken the academics way out there. Now you see the revolt. Now you see these younger, higher souls coming in. They don't want to sit there in academics, so they're leaving school early. And if we judge consciousness from academics, shame on us. And man needs to learn that. And it needs to learn that we need to bring a spiritual component, not a religious component, because that'll never work. We need a spiritual component to our schools. And that is more of a self-understanding, more of take time using the mind and take time in a contemplation. Doesn't have to be focused on any spiritual thing or religious thing, but a time to get to the self. Time to not think and a time to think. We must train souls that how to think and how not to think. How to use thought for the benefit, but how to pull it in and rein it in for the benefit. Because the mind will take you on to journeys way out there. And like this girl that's having trouble with the mind and think, you got to get out of your minds, because that's where you're up against a lot of other beings that also use their mind in a much more powerful way than we do. Just saying. For your survival, learn consciousness, not thought. It's easy to think. It's easy to learn academics. It's all about desire and your focus. Your souls, you're beautiful. You're an aspect of God. So whenever you focus, any of you, whenever you focus, you're going to excel at whatever you're focusing on, because that's putting your God consciousness to whatever you want to experience. No one's stupid. Intellectually, we could say, well, they don't have the academics or whatever. So what? It doesn't make one better than the other. Matter of fact, in some circles, it makes you lose yourself even more. And there's nothing any worse than seeing a highly academic person that's lost spiritually. And you see that all over the place. You see it highly in the medical community, willing to use toxic chemicals and acids that kill to treat symptoms because nothing else out there works. How narcissistic is that? That's pretty bad. That's real bad. And we've got to change that. Because if you don't change that, this world doesn't have a chance. But it's going to be changed come hell or high, because we don't control any of this. You know, like I said, kick back and watch your life. It'll keep on moving without you while you're driving the train through consciousness. Hi, Dr. Moore. Oh, we're going on down this same thing. Yeah, yep. Yeah, you just go in and clean and rebuild and restore. Genetics are restored, things are restored. I don't buy into all this RH factors and stuff like that. I don't even waste my time thinking about that, because these kind of people come up with crap. Even the I'm sorry, I just don't go with the blood type diet at all. No other creature does, and neither does man. These are more antigens when you study blood type factors and stuff. You're looking at immunity. You're looking at a whole different ballgame, not diet types. I don't care where you live or who you are. I put you on a good tropical diet with herbs. I'm going to get you well. I don't care who you are. I've done it world over for years and years, all around the world, at every level, every ethnic group. I don't care who you are, what blood type you are. We can get you well doing the same thing, because you are a species, not a blood type. Vibrant raw veganista. Do avocado cravings result from needs to buffer acids relief? Good question. Well, it definitely needs, I would say, an input of more lipids. Your body's asking for more anti-acid power, absolutely, probably. Or truly, as you mentioned, for amino acids. No, I wouldn't think for amino acids. I would think this is more for lipids, I'll tell you the truth. If someone has malabsorption, well, I mean, with malabsorption, you can crave anything, you know. Lipids too. You know, because that's a system that creates malabsorption, and of course that's not moving, so lipid absorption would be minimal. So your buffering mechanism for acids would be minimal. Therefore, whatever your body can convert in terms of fats from yourself, whatever the liver can convert. Remember, that liver is an incredible chemical. Look how big it is. It's a major chemical factory, and to call the liver a detoxifying organ is insane. But we have. Health people have for years, and they went after the liver. Gerson has went after the liver. Hadn't cared much. I wonder, as I have always eaten avocados since going raw. Yeah, I think I just think they're so good for. I love them too. I have them about every lunch. And now that Chili's offers table-side guac, you make it yourself, or your waitress makes it, or waiter. Yeah, then I grab and go. So I get cucumbers and guac, baby. But don't buy into some of these factors and stuff, because it puts you in a world of hell, and then you can't go anywhere. And you're stuck with that. And then pretty soon, you're in trouble. Yeah, I tell you what, I have to run. School, and this will be the last time I'll talk to you guys until after the school, probably, which is the end of next week. Probably won't do a video for another week and a half or so. So I so well apologize. And if there's any of your cases like this man with the cardiomyopathies and the ischemias and stuff, holy crap, you've got to call in here. You can't wait. This is a case that is serious, that is life-threatening at any minute. So these are the cases you don't wait for a YouTube response. You get in here and you call in here and let us help you and get going here. Now, come May 1st, guys, you got to be club members, and we're $10 for lifetime, and then we give you 10% off your first order. Come on, you're going to make money on this, but it's going to protect all of you and all you healers. And it's nice to belong to a club. Now, these YouTube videos are not going to be part of the club, because they're free, offered by the club, but and they're not meant to treat diseases or anything like that. Obviously, they're to educate you on how to get your body from Hellville to Wellville. And a lot of you have already done some incredible work on yourselves. I'm so proud of you. And if we just have to get this world's thinking up, I don't care. Any aberrated side of this is at least better. So we just have to help the world get their understanding. And it's why we're here, to awaken some of this sleeping consciousness, so things can go on a little better here and kind of stop this spiraling karmic thing that's just kill. So I love you guys. Remember, be here now always. Try to achieve a desireless state for a while and live in the moment and enjoy the beauty of the fruits and the feeling of goodness and wellness, and give that love out to everyone. Divine love. Love everything you see, because you have your sukkah. When you're home, you're home. And home is now, right now. We're all home right now. It's the mind that takes you away from your home. Takes you on journeys. Thought is journeys of activity. And so the more you think, the more you desire, the more you journey. But the less you do, the more you're home. And home is Wellville in every sense of the word. I love you all. Namaste. May the blessings be, and have a good week.